He doesn't have to prove it to the fans. He's got to prove it to me. Now you got the Road Warriors. Awesome. One of the biggest talents in our business in their own hometown. They got to beat not Arn and Tully, but the world champions, the one and only. And I'm telling you, from a man that knows this sport better than anybody, they better be at their best, because Blanchard and Anderson are ready for nothing but glory, money, notoriety, and lots of ladies in Chi-Town. You know Ric Flair's gonna turn it on. I'm gonna be dressed, woo, and looking as only I can look. Chicago, Chi-Town Heat, Starrcade 87, and Tony Schiavone. Let's not forget that the night before, think about it, New York City, bright lights, big cities, pretty ladies, Nature Boy, New York, New York. Think about it, Luger, Flair, Anderson, Blanchard, James J. Dillon, 5 or 6 million women putting their stuff together right now, because we are taking, and I mean this literally, we are taking New York City. You know why? Because we are the best. We are the NWA. We are Crockett Promotions. We are the Wrestling Network. We are what wrestling's all about. New York City here, Chicago here, JD on my left, Linda on my right. But I'm not telling any of the girls who I'm going to give it to in Chicago until that night. Woo! Woo! Woo!
Don't go away.
We had, say what? A whole lot of superstars on this stage here tonight. But I want y'all to know one thing. This is my house. And when I say who's
Word attack skills and vocabulary too. Cover hits in the distant distance, it's all brand new. Get through, I'm interplanetary like Doctor Who. So who?
Fuck your beef, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
Ring Tire Pro Wrestling is at it again. I'm not by myself this week. I brought Keisha along with me. Contract negotiations went good. She accepted a new deal. She's back.
Of course.
Cost me a lot of money. I got her back, everybody.
Hey, man, sometimes you gotta write shit. Just saying. A little bit.
Now peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the rest of the next 2 years. But she's back.
You know I would do you like that.
She's back. She's in the house. So we about to talk about this wrestling. It's been a very interesting week in the WWE. These fans are pissed.
Ouch. Honey.
I didn't know everybody was pissed off this bad. And I mean, the ratings reflect it. And don't get me wrong, they've had some struggle ratings in the past.
Yeah.
But people are pissed, and it is widespread.
No.
And they getting hit from like every angle. I mean, they getting talked bad about on podcasts, by former wrestlers, by former promoters, by fans. And it's not really usual that in unison people are talking bad about the product. You know what I mean? Generally one side of the group generally steps up and says, hey man, y'all should ease up, or hey, the internet nerds need to shut up, or something, right?
No, it's like everybody's collectively in this together.
Yeah.
Everybody
is mad. Shit. I didn't know it was that bad out in these streets. Like, I mean, for me, it's different, but I've seen bad before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, not okay. I won't even say this. Not even have I seen bad. Keisha, I've seen WCW try out RoboCop in a match.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen RoboCop show up to a match?
It was awful. It's awful. Like, it's like some of the worst shit ever, because it's You have to sit. You sit there. It's like torture almost, because it's like, why is this happening? Can somebody please explain to me what the hell does RoboCop have to do with wrestling? Like, it's so. Oh my God, it's so awful. Oh, it's so awful.
It's not RoboCop bad yet. All right.
It ain't reached that point, but it's getting there. It's close.
But
it's close.
I think with the slew of injuries combined with their stagnant ideas for creative, I think we ended up in this weird place where I think it's predictable and it's a bad predict. It's like it's predictable and it's the predictable nobody wants.
Right.
They're steadfast on the track that nobody wants. Right. I've seen Sheamus as champ before. Generally, Sheamus championship reigns have been in a transitional phase. And this one is probably no different. He's a transitional champ.
Yeah.
I think, though, this time, they expect him to carry some load. Well, the last time he was a transitional champ, he was just a figurehead, but there was other people really carrying the freight. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. John Cena was selling those tickets when he was a transitional champ last time, years ago, right?
Right.
John Cena still drove ratings. That's not here right now.
No.
And here's the thing. For all you people who want to move on from John Cena, this stretch right now says they're not going to move on from John Cena for the next 3 years or so. Whatever hope of that like transition and maybe giving somebody else a shot of moving a little bit beyond John Cena, probably not happening anytime soon.
It can't handle it.
Numbers too weak. Eric, they gonna say they're gonna look back to this time period and say that's why we can't move on from John right now.
Right.
It's not ready. The pie not ready. I think they felt like they moved on too soon from Austin back in the day. Even though I think Austin was getting near the end of the rope.
Right.
I think they felt like they moved on and it took them a while, but then they found Cena. But even in a transitional period, then they were doing very well. And they had really developed a lot of good talent. And I'm going to say we're in a wrestling recession again. You know how the economy is in a recession? Keeps we're in a wrestling recession. And wrestling recessions happen from time to time, right?
Right.
Look, the 80s was booming. Booming. We got pay-per-view. Look, when the territories broke down, we were left with two big companies, right?
Right.
You were left with WCW and you were left with WWF. Well, what happens is, all that territory talent, as much as Vince took a lot of the territory talent, hey man, Crockett took a lot of that territory talent too, right?
Right.
Like you understand, you know how they get Sting? Sting is acquired through the UWF. When Watt sells his stake in the UWF, which used to be Mid-South, you know what I mean, over to Turner, because he got tired of the business.
Right.
So, that's how they get Sting, that's how they get Dr. Death. You know what I mean? Those where those guys come from. So, promotions like GWF don't last too long. USWA kind of fizzles out a little bit. Then they end up partnering with WWE later on down the line as developmental. Smoky Mountain comes out the ashes and lasts for a little while, but that doesn't really go. And I mean, different companies come and go here and there. Smoky Mountain is a very interesting story. You should read up on Smoky Mountain Wrestling because they came about during the recession and did well during the recession as a smaller territory. But neither here nor there. The 80s were two companies that got fat and strong off of smaller the smaller territories was closing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were able to put off A-level matches because they had all these guys that you read about in the wrestling magazines all together at one time in one company or the other. And then a lot of those guys jumped back and forth, so you got to see them. You got to see things you didn't really get to see before, right? So if you were a fan and you knew about Piper, when you came to the WWF, that was a whole nother thing for you.
Right.
Steamboat, same kind of thing, right? Whole different thing for you. Then if you were a Steamboat fan and when he blew up in WWE and came back to WCW by 89, that's a whole nother thing for you, right? These are... And I mean, wrestling was hot. Well, we get to like 91, things cool off. 92, 93, 94 are like the dead years of wrestling. Man, there's a lot of random quizzes I can give you about 1993, and you'd be like, who? What?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, who era was that? WWE was transitioning because that's when WWF had moved on from Savage and Hogan and those guys, right?
Right.
And those guys hadn't even really jumped over to WCW yet. And then even when they jump over in 94 and 95, they're not making a big splash. Like, they're there, and people know they're there, but they're not really... Nothing pops off till 96 when the NWO comes along.
And that's where it starts.
Because here's the thing. Monday Night Wars start in 95, but there's no sizzle until that NWO angle comes in. The Monday Night Wars don't even get interesting for about a year. Like, it's WWE pretty much entrenched in dominance because nobody really knows about a lot of this, but then when WCW starts making those moves and starts raiding the talent, and you start seeing guys from the other company in the new company, that's what changes the diagram of all of this.
All right.
Attitude Era kicks off, and probably the most successful era of wrestling ever. Late 90s, early 2000s, right? 2001, that all ends with Vince coming out with the pony and winning everything. Well, from 2001 to maybe 2005, 6, or 7, he has all the talent. I mean, TNA and ROH start up. ROH starts with new guys you've never heard of. TNA uses guys from WCW that didn't quite make the cut.
Right.
Vince got all the weapons. So, not only did he have his guys, he had the best WCW had to offer, like Booker T and those guys. He had the best ECW had to offer, like Rob Van Dam and the Dudleys, yada yada. Then he had his stars, Rock, Austin, in place. Then he had the emerging stars in the Benoits, the Jerichos, you know what I'm saying, the Eddie Guerreros. Then below that, he had the guys in developmental that came along in 2002, where you get Brock, Batista, Randy. So the company's set for the next few years, and it keeps just going in this motion. But after that rookie class that comes around 2002, they never quite fully reload. They added pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They added CM Punk. They added this. They added that. But they never fully reload. Now, what brings new life in the company, they discover ROH and they raid that talent base. And they get a Daniel Bryan. They get a Cesaro. They get a Seth Rollins. You know what I mean? And they understand the indies now a little bit. And then they start using their developmental and they work out something. But the last real core of guys came in that Wyatt Shield class, right?
Right.
Even then, they've added pieces, but they never really fully reloaded. So, and then what ended up happening, they created a revolution with NXT, but they don't know how to transition it. And here we are. So, I think change is coming, and it's upon us. We've suffered for a few years, but I think it's coming. But they're going to have to change some business practices. and we'll see how that evolves and how that changes things. But they're going to have to change something.
Right.
With that, hey man, let's go into Raw, right?
Ooh, do we need to?
Yeah. No.
Keith, I swear to you, ever since Monday night, all I have been reading, all I have been hearing, all I have been seeing is the disgruntledness of Raw. Like, people have been thoroughly expressing how much they could not stand this episode of Raw. Like, I swear to you, I haven't read not one single review of Raw that has been positive. Like, not one. I swear to you, I just really gotten into seeing people react to the things that were happening on Raw, and they're just kind of, and it just goes back to everybody's pissed. People are pissed right now. So, well, but of course we got to talk about it. So let's discuss it. Let's please get into this, because I think people want to hear, something. That's about all I can really say about it. They want to hear something, so you got to give them what they want. You got to give them some level of review.
Give the people.
I'm just saying.
Give the people what they want. Okay. All right. Hey, total side note. I'm about to take this off the rails real quick before we get about talking about Raw. You know that White Iverson song that grew on me? But I still think it's the most retarded song in the world. Even title is stupid.
So I showed your brother, I showed Marcus, what Post Malone looked like, because he didn't know he was white either, and he was like, "Whoa, what? He white?" I said, "Yeah, he's white." I said, "He's white with braids." Like, he was like, "You can't be serious." I showed a picture. He was like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Post Malone, I'm not. So is this whole gimmick basketball? Because Post Malone is, are you referring? You got Moses Malone post game, or you got Karl Malone post game?
Yeah.
Either way.
Well, I found out that his last name is Post. So I don't know where he get Malone from, but that would be my only guess at that. But his last name is Post. I forget his real name is Austin Post, and I forgot where he's from, but I read up on him a little bit. Like, he's
in the world.
How old did it say he is? I think he's like 20, 23, somewhere in his early 20s. So, yeah, but his name's Post Malone. And for those of you that don't know the song White Iverson, I would say Google it. You can watch the video on YouTube and whatnot. I've liked the song. I started liking the song probably about a week or two after I heard it, because I'm a little ratchet in life. So, I every time I hear this song, I kind of blast it a little bit. But yeah, it'll grow on you. It definitely will grow on you if you listen to it enough. But yes, the person that does this song is a white male by the name of Post Malone, and hence the name White Iverson. Because I swear to you, I wouldn't say he looks like a White Iverson, because his teeth are totally different. But yeah, it's some stuff. So I applaud Keith for joining my ratchetness just a little bit. You can't be alone in this.
Hey man, other than that Migos and that dab,
yeah, I'm done. No, we're not doing that. I'm not doing the dab. I'm just not doing it. So I leave that to your niece. She can dab all day. I ain't got time for it. Nope, won't do it. Sorry, everybody that's out there dabbing. I ain't dabbing. I will not be doing that.
I really don't even know what dabbing is, because that's how old I am, and I don't want to know, because I feel like you would ruin it for me. So, along the dance, because if there's anything else, I can't co-sign it.
Keith, if you see it, I'm telling you, you'll be like, "Are you serious? Is that it?" Like, dabbing is very simple, and actually doing. I would say YouTube it so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah,
don't want to know.
Hey, you gotta see it at least once because your sister done did it before. Well, our sister done did it before. Of course, Mariah running around here doing it. So,
right.
I just don't do it. I think I'm a little too old to be doing it.
Go back to this wrestling, right, Keith? So we get to Raw Monday, right?
Yeah.
Sheamus in his ring because Monday Night Raw has to start with the explicable long promo by somebody who's got a belt.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
That's also one thing. They haven't changed the format of the show in like 15 years, right?
Right.
Like, there's no surprise to the show. You do understand who's going to be out there, who's going to talk, and eventually those people are going to be in the main event of the show later on in 3 hours, right?
Exactly.
Let's cut all that out. Then it gets potential, Keith. So Sheamus started talking about the League of Nations and how they're the most powerful four-man group ever, right?
Right.
Then it gets dark. Bray Wyatt them show up.
Exactly.
Keith, I said this about to get real.
Yeah. I was excited about this moment.
You never know how hype you can get. Like, all right, this is what I'm talking about. You want to make something happen. Bray Wyatt said, look, man, this is my world. I'm just letting you live in it. I'm like, all right. And then he told his boys, look, all this yin-yang, this talking is over.
Exactly.
We need to go ahead and get to business. Okay. Then guess what happened? The Dudleys show up and they introduce Rhino.
Which was awesome.
Okay. Maybe. I say buzzkill. You can say awesome. Here's the thing. There's a mark-out moment for Rhino. Yes. Great. We got a fourth guy for their little match that they're going to lose. Also, hey, man, Rhino ain't really impressing me at 45.
Keith, don't be like that. Don't be like that.
It's going bad. Yes. His arms have actually gotten shorter.
Well, I mean, look, Keith, if you want to be
he was busted. Look, the fat just that oozed over his shoulder and it made his arm shorter. Well, and I built like a bad T-Rex.
Don't be like that. Look, all I'm saying is, for a group of men in their 40s, it's kind of awesome. I just saying, like, I mean, that's the only way you can really describe it, because all of them, and the Dudleys and Tommy Dreamer and Rhino, they're all about in their 40s, ain't they? All of them, they ain't there, they close to it. They about close to it, but I think all of them are in their 40s. So, I mean, what else do you expect? You have to just take the situation as it is. You have to take the situation as it is.
I'll say this. Shouts out to Missy Hyatt. She said something on Twitter that hey man, them dudes have got more mileage out of ECW than anybody has ever gotten out of any other wrestling company, period. Ever. Right? Like Larry Zbyszko don't show up on the indies and people be shouting AWA.
All right.
Right? Like, it don't happen. Like, I mean, Michael Hayes could come out tomorrow and they ain't gonna be hollering world class.
Nah.
So,
not at all.
Yo, props out to the ECW crew. Even though they are responsible for partially what you see today.
Mm-hmm.
Because they help. They helped the boom that led to the bust. But that's another story for a whole nother podcast for me to go ahead and rant and tell the story of wrestling, right?
Right.
But so they come out. Then Roman come down with the Usos and Dean, and I guess that's his clique now, right? It's
Right.
his cousin and his boy. Right? That leads to the 16-man clusterfuck.
Now, I knew, Keith, when they brought out the Dudleys and Dreamer, I knew, because of course I didn't know who their fourth man was going to be. They brought out Rhino. Oh my gosh, what the hell. And then as soon as Roman came down with them, I said, okay. Off top, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a 16-man tag match. 16 men. One tag match.
So
Why, Keith?
We do a
Why?
4-way elimination, right? So you got 16 people on a card that ain't that thick. So you know some people gonna come back for double duty anyway.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
here's the thing: you don't take any clear chances. Roman and his crew win it. Spoiler alert. But hey, man, the Wyatts got eliminated first,
Right.
which I don't understand why you gonna keep abusing them. That size, the gimmick, the whole the fans is on it.
Hell, if anything, it should have never went. They should have never went first. They should have never went first. Hell, if you wanted to make this compelling to me, you should have just left it at the League of Nations versus the Wyatt family. That would have made it compelling to me. Like, I would have just been fine with that. But then you added in two other groups, and I'm just kind of like, why? You know, like, why?
But I digress, right? So we do that. Then we keep moving on through the show. So after that, that whole thing was built for Roman to look strong, right?
Right.
Then after that, I'll say this: at least the show had a lot of wrestling in the first hour. I thought Kevin Owens and Ziggler had a good match. Ziggler's just gonna be a bumping tool from now on. Owens comes face to face with Dean Ambrose, who pretty much just punks him out, throws some popcorn in his face. Team Bad looked good when they took down the Bellas.
Yeah, until.
And I thought they looked good, and the New Day came and partied with them, and they had unicorns, and everything was good. I like seeing the black unity.
Well, I like seeing the black unity too, but what's up with the unicorn thing? Like, can somebody explain that to me? Was that just part of the foolishness? Like, I don't understand.
It's a New Day thing.
I am perfectly fine.
Unicorns, they think they're unicorns, and they're special, and God willing, they are special.
Yeah, it's just like using the right word for it. They special, right? Like, excuse me, but can y'all get y'all lives together? Like, what is this? I was so done. I swear, I was so done. I was perfectly fine with Team Bad and the New Day, you know, making this alliance and getting together, and 3 black men, 3 black women, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the unicorn thing. What the hell? No. I think
Negroes are magical. Negroes are magical.
Yeah.
That is why unicorns are there. You gotta understand that we are magical people. Alright. But then we move over to Charlotte and Miz TV, where we got Charlotte turning heel.
Of course.
And they're gonna turn her heel against Paige, which they're starting to try. They thought they was doing it slow, but it's more than obvious now, right?
Right.
And then even the funny thing is, they gave Paige a babyface setup on Miz TV, where it's like, oh, she not here. Then she come out, oh, she here. Then they have to try to dirty Paige up and make her a little bit heel. But the damage is done now. Y'all gonna make
somebody definitely botched that.
Yeah. Y'all making Charlotte the heel, which I think she should be a heel, and maybe that's where their transition, like I said, last week, she'll transition towards heel, Sasha will transition towards face, and then they'll face off, right?
Right.
With obstacles in between.
Makes sense.
Charlotte going heel now against Paige is kind of like, ooh. So the girl who talked about your dead brother is going to end up being the babyface out of this?
Yeah, that makes zero sense to me.
Right?
I mean, 0 sense to me.
You, the person where your dead brother got drugged through the mud, is not going to be the fan favorite after this feud? At least for a little while? Ooh, okay. All right. I see. Ooh, okay. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with it. I'm like, oh. Ooh. Like, I don't know what to do with that.
Exactly.
You are in a weird situation here.
My thing is this. I just, personally, I just kind of figured that at some point, and I hate to say this, but at some point, and you know, they was going to have Rick out there with Charlotte. Because, I mean, Rick was already showing up to Charlotte's matches when she was in NXT, you know, so I already knew that this was going to happen in the main roster. She was going to be out there strutting and wooing and all that kind of shit, you know. Not necessarily being her own person, but not necessarily, you know, taking in everything. And it's crazy how this person that was talking about her dead brother and how her father helped her get her way to where she is, and you know, all that kind of stuff. Now she's gonna be the babyface. That makes 0 sense to me, because it's like, why would you set up this way? You know, what was the point in all that? You know, now you got Charlotte out there healing it up, and then you have to figure out a way to get Paige back to that point, but it's too late, because now you've given Charlotte this position, you put her up against Paige, and that's just how things work. That's just how it works. Like, there is no way to really save it at this point, because there's nothing to save. Like, you have completely changed the game with this one again, and there is no way to really to switch it back up. I mean, right. It's crazy. There is no way to switch back up. It's done. Like, so now you're just going to have to let it play out, and you're going to have to figure out a way to get them to be back into the roles they originally were at. And that's not easy. That ain't no easy task, because it's not easy to have I mean, it's easy to say it, but it ain't easy to do it. You know, this week they're both, one's a heel, one's face, and then the next week it's the opposite. You know, it's that opposite, and then the next week it's an opposite. People are going to stop watching it because they don't want to see that crap. Right. They don't want to see them keep continuously changing over and over and over again in a short time period. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, making that change is one of the reasons why people are like, nah, I think it's about time for me to turn off, right?
Right.
I watched the Ryback thing with Rusev. That was interesting. The segments with Stardust and Titus O'Neil are weird. Also, Jack Swagger. Now, you had him in witness protection for like 2 years.
Exactly.
Now, all of a sudden, you rolling him out, and he got a title match at the pay-per-view, and you're going to let him win a match for the first time in like 3 years. So now, this is supposed to amount to a win streak.
Exactly.
And like I said, you had him in witness protection for like 2 years. Like, I didn't know he still had a job.
Exactly.
Like, I thought he was hurt. I didn't know what was happening. But all of a sudden, you got Del Rio, and you try to make like an instant grit storyline. And I think you just try to give Del Rio something to do because he got the belt. Not really ready to jump on that. You know what I mean?
But, I mean, I saw it coming, Keith. Like, we're going to talk about predictable things. Let's talk about that. Because we all seen it coming when they brought that Coulter with Del Rio. You know, it was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. We knew it was going to happen. We was just waiting on it. It was a matter of time before they was going to have Jack out there. And to tell the truth, I had wondered if Jack was going to be out there because, as you had said before, hell, I didn't know if he had a job still or not. So it was first a mystery of is he going to show up, and then it's like when. And then, you know, because eventually this whole Del Rio Swagger feud, it was going to happen. It was going to happen because of them placing Del Rio with Zev, and you know, we knew Jack was going to have a problem with it, and the new forefront of what they wanted, and blah 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 blah. And it was all a matter of time. We was waiting on it. Like, I was waiting on it just to see when it was going to happen, because I knew at some point it was going to happen. And I have to honestly say, I wasn't really waiting on it like in anticipation, like excitement. It was just more so of, oh, I know what's coming next. Just bring it on, you know? Like, that was just the moment of time. I'm not really too thrilled on it, but you know, what is there at times with the WWE in these days? What is there that happens that you're just kind of like, yay, that was awesome, you know? There's these new moments are starting to decrease. And that is a problem in itself, but you know, I digress. So, but yeah.
So, I mean, watching it, I don't know. It's really rough. And that last segment that pissed everybody off, I don't think they really understand why it pissed everybody off. Keish.
Yes.
They didn't accentuate the positives of anything that had to do with this feud. First of all, you let Roman and Sheamus talk to death in the last segment of the show. At the end of 3 hours, the last thing I want to hear either one of them do is talk. That's not their strength.
Exactly.
Then they had a makeshift brawl for no reason. Why are they brawling before the pay-per-view? One thing we gotta stop doing is scrap it out before the pay-per-view. Let them not touch each other before the pay-per-view.
Exactly.
You can do some matches for enhancement prior to, but man, let the pay-per-view be the pay-per-view. I would save attacks for very sparingly. Only a really hot feuds that have been going on for a while, where we start doing side attacks and stuff like that, because people are now desperate. You're not desperate in the early part of a feud. It's not even a feud yet. It's just some dudes who they had a match too.
Exactly.
So we got to find a way to balance that. But with that, Keish, we're going to go into the break. We're going to come back. We're going to hit the news. We're going to hit the birthdays as per usual. Then we go to preview TLC. And we're going down the whole card, match by match. The history of TLC, when they bastardized the match and turned it into this event. Mm-hmm. I will rail on the stupidest match of the event that they have every year. I think it's the dumbest match that you could ever come up. It's the laziest booking. Whoever thought of this should never be employed in the history of wrestling ever again. And every person who puts this match and adds this match to the pay-per-view every year should be fired on the spot just because this is stupid. And it takes away. I feel like everybody knows wrestling is a scripted drama, right?
Right.
You know the difference between that and other scripted dramas on TV? They try.
Exactly.
They are still in the illusion business. Wrestling, not so much. Wrestling said they know it's fake, so fuck it, why try?
Exactly.
With that, man, I'm gonna hit the break and we'll be back and we'll go more into it. Alright. See you on the other side.
One of the top contenders for the NWA World Heavyweight title.
Well, you know something, brother? These Koloffs are going around here talking about they're the six-man champs. How could that even be? They've never even wrestled the Freebirds. But that's beside the point. You talking about Ric Flair. One thing that he said was right on key. He is the world champion right now. You see, right now, he was talking about he's out here with ladies that been standing in line. Yeah, they've been standing on line with the rest of them down there on Stewart Avenue, and I think everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. Now, he come out here and he says, hey, Michael Hayes, he said, this ain't rock and roll, baby. This is the gold. You ain't got to tell me what it is. I know. 26 years old, and I've had my head banged around for 8 years. I don't need no sissy britch punk like you telling me what it's about. So as you get this straight, baby, Atlanta, GA, Hotlanta is the Freebirds town, man. And we've drank enough whiskey to float a battleship around, but we don't let no sissy like you run us out of town. And yes, we are Bubba bad to the bone, and yes, we have been known to drink alone. But when the title shot comes, I'm not going to be alone, because Hotlanta's going to be behind me. And when you looking at me, Ric Flair, it's going to be like this. Me and you, peas in a pot, and the peas would be jumping if the water wasn't hot.
Freebird Michael Hayes. We'll be back with more right after this.
All right, on the flip side, we are back from the break, and it is the birthday segment.
Birthday!
It's your birthday? All right, so this day, y'all gonna get it on the 11th, Friday morning. I can say that yesterday was the 10th, and December 10th was the birthday of S.A. Rios, former Latin American WWE superstar, who brought Lita into the game. Well, not brought Lita into the game. They paired up Lita when she first came in.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Bright red hair, jumping all over the place. Light heavyweight champion. Yeah, he was kind of awesome.
Also, December 10th, What Half a Crime Time birthday. JTG yesterday celebrated birthday.
Where is JTG?
Probably still backstage hiding out at Raw. But no, he has been cut. So I don't really know what he's doing these days. Today is the 11th. So that would be the birthday of the great Rey Mysterio. Rey turns 41.
Awesome.
In these streets today. Tomorrow would be the 12th, which would be Saturday. The great Sabu celebrates a birthday. Sabu will be 51.
Oh man.
Yeah. Also, Sunday, day of the pay-per-view, is the birthday of the late great Junkyard Dog, aka Big Daddy Ritter, Sylvester Ritter. JYD would have been 63 if he was alive today. And that's it for the birthdays. On to the news.
Oh, Lord.
So, what's news that's not really news? Sting is going to need neck surgery. I think those reports had came out after the match with Seth Rollins a few months ago, but now they've been made official. They made official on WWE.com. Yes, Sting will need neck surgery following that match against Seth Rollins a few months ago. To repair damage to his spine, whatever. That's pretty much effectively it for Sting's career. Because you're talking about a year recovery for a guy in his 20s or 30s. Sting in his 50s, I don't think they're going to clear somebody in their 50s, after neck surgery, to come back and try to wrestle again. And I don't think anybody would try to come back and wrestle again in their 50s. So I'm going to say Sting is done, right?
Not just yet, but at the same time, how much more can you really take at his age? Well, how much more are you willing to take? What's the point? What's the end game?
Yeah.
That's the better question.
But I'm going to say it's probably a done deal, right?
All right.
Other than that, I didn't know Road Dogg was the lead writer on SmackDown.
Really?
Yeah.
That's news to me. I did not know that.
Still gonna suck, but yeah.
All right. Hey, man. Sometimes.
I mean, here's the thing. Until they come to USA next month, I'm waiting to see what happens with SmackDown. I think they can make SmackDown good. It's not hard, but they don't try. Like now it seems like Raw Junior.
Yeah.
And what they need to do is it needs to be its own independent story and show. And maybe what you could do is have things from Raw pay off on SmackDown. Like you get set up, somebody gets attacked, or they can get their revenge on SmackDown. Vice versa. Something go down on SmackDown, it picks back up on Raw. I mean, that's how it was initially, right?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how it was. And then now all of a sudden it's two separate shows complete. Like, who really started that DS? Whatever.
Right. But also CM Punk comments on being not being in WWE. I think a fan asked him would he go back for $50 million. CM Punk said money isn't everything. So take that for what it works.
Right.
Triple H is out in these streets acknowledging that the program is struggling and trying to figure out ways to get it back together. I don't know if that's going to lead to a power coup or something, but he is out here in these streets acknowledging that, hey, things could use a change, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Lucha Underground fans. Hey, they're coming back. The warm-up will be a marathon with the entire first season on January 23rd and 24th. The new season will kick off Wednesday, January 27th. It still is going to be on El Rey. I think they're trying to secure maybe, a bigger network or something like that for right now. But those fans who were digging Lucha Underground last year, it's coming back. So be on the lookout for that. So January 27th, we're going to get some more, just some more wrestling variety out there in these streets.
Understandable.
Yeah. So, with that, Keish, I think it's ready just to go into WWE TLC, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I just think about the fact that this has been going on every year for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Please. Let's continue.
So, I mean, TLC is birthed out of the wonderful match created by Edge, Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudley Boys that eventually got bastardized into a pay-per-view. Three teams competed. They went to get these titles off a ladder, but in this ladder match, chairs were available to be used as weapons. Tables were around and they could be used as weapons, and people fell off, got hit, and all kinds of stuff, and it was dangerous at every time they went because the Hardys and the Christian were high energy, and the Dudleys who were powerful. There was a demolition derby effect to what was going to go on in there.
Right.
They comprised of the first three matches, even though the first one I don't even think it was even actually called TLC at the time. Then we get to TLC 4, where the same kind of players involved, but then we had Benoit and Jericho. Exclusively for a while it was a tag team match.
Right.
Then all of a sudden we just started throwing it out as a singles match. Then we started using it on Raw. I think Edge fought Ric Flair on Raw in a TLC match. For the title. I think it's just a matter of it's not necessarily. It should be held in kind of weight, and you throw it out when it's like a big deal, right?
Right.
Because now what they're doing is they're forcing these matches that don't have, to me, the heat to support the match. Like these big stipulation matches, what made them work in the past was that there was build up to the match. They had done everything. They exhausted all possibilities. And now we're here at this match where, we got to have a winner. We're not here with any of these. These things were thrown together beforehand, and now we're trying to make sense out of them. and that's where you go wrong having it as a scheduled yearly pay-per-view every year, right?
Which is awful.
Unless you're going to make your feuds coincide with it, but they're not doing that either, right?
Right.
All right. So, because we don't have a lot of time left, because it's late, I'm going to get right into the card, Keish. I think there's about 7 matches scheduled as of now. I'm sure we're going to get something on the pre-show or something like that. But right now, this is where we at. The show probably is going to open up Rusev versus Ryback. Rusev has Lana back. No real reason why this match is going on.
There is none.
We can go ahead and pick a winner.
Rusev. I'm just gonna say Rusev. The heel prevails in this match, and that's it. That's pretty much all I got to say about that. I pick Rusev to win. Bam.
I'm gonna go opposite just because I'm looking at the card. Too many heels are gonna win that night.
Right.
Too many. Like, most of the heels are gonna win that night. So I think Rusev will do the honors for the one or two guys who are gonna lose. So Rusev will be that one of those guys. I think he's going to be a hitman for the League of Nations, but I don't think he's all the way out of the doghouse.
Exactly.
And I think Ryback drops the show, yo. So.
Yeah, no. I still, you know, I'm behind Rusev on this one. But it's crazy because I'm not really enthused about it anyway, so, yeah.
No, it doesn't really have any build up, and I mean, it's not leading to anything. I'll tell you that. So, yeah, I can see where that goes. Alright, down the line, wrestle match 2. United States Champion Alberto Del Rio, along with Zeb Coulter, will defend his United States Championship in a chairs match against Jack Swagger.
Explain to me the concept of a chairs match. They get chairs that they can use as weapons against each other, and that's a chairs match.
Legal. Yeah, chairs are legal.
Okay. Good.
Uh-huh.
Good. Alberto Del Rio retains. That's about all I got. That's about all I got on that one. So, he was.
First of all, I think this is the dumbest match in the history of all matches. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get that out. I put it on Twitter. I say it every year when they have this match. It is lazy. It is retarded. It is the worst booking idea ever. I don't think it helps anybody involved. It doesn't do anything for whoever's going to lose the match.
Definitely doesn't
help the winner. It's just a match that's just hanging out there and unnecessary. Right?
Mm-hmm. Completely unnecessary.
That being said, Del Rio wins just because he's supposed to.
Yes. I don't. You know, it just makes you wonder, like, this. But this is why people are starting to look at this. You know what? Let me stop myself. Not finna get into this rant. I won't do it. I'm finna go off on a tangent. I'm gonna stop myself right now. No. Because I can do this all day about how they need to get it together and this match is awful and I'm not gonna do it.
Hell no.
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope.
Hell
not gonna do it.
Hell no. Oh.
Sometimes you gotta stop yourself, Keith. You
Hell
gotta stop yourself.
No.
Tell yourself no. No. See, something wrong with you. But I agree. Let's go through the card. Let's finish the card.
ECW Originals, the Dudleys, Bubba Ray and Devon, Tommy Dreamer, and Rhino take on the Wyatt family in an 8-man tag team elimination tables match.
Okay, how does this work?
In response to extreme fuckery. The way I'm getting it, if you get put through a table, you are eliminated. You got to go to the back.
So you mean to tell me? You mean to tell me 4 people from a team have to get put through tables? Do you know how long that would take?
Oh, it won't take long because they're gonna rush through it. But I will say this thing will end with 2 members of the Wyatt family standing. Yeah,
I'm agree. We're gonna agree with that. I'm going with that. That actually sounds pretty legit. I'm with that one. I'm just starting to really. What? Like, I'm sorry. 8 men in an elimination 8-man tables match. What? Say what? I mean, I just need to know. I need somebody to explain to me how does this work. Like, 8 men are going to compete in a tables match?
Yeah, we're going to set up tables. It's probably a tornado-style match. Bodies going to fly all over the place. And the first team to get 4 dudes through a table wins.
Because there is no, there will be no tagging, of course. We all know that. Like, it's going to be too chaotic. Because people are going to be flying through tables.
Because the WWE is who they are, I think at the beginning of the match, they're going to try to set up like a regular tag team match for them.
Which is going to be dumb, because then there's no pinfalls. Like, so why would you even go that route, you know? Like, what's the point? There's no pinfalls.
No. The end game is, like I said, I think the Wyatts come out with 2 members that win. Because people are going to go through a table on accident. Somebody's going to slip and fall and go through a table, right?
Right.
So, what's going to happen is 2 of their guys will go, 4 of their guys will go. Bray and probably Braun Strowman will be left standing.
Exactly. I can agree with that. I can. I'm with you on it.
Harper and Warwick gonna take that pill, right?
Yeah, they are. Like, we already know Rowan is gonna take it, because he's just like, I'm starting to see that he's just like the beat up person for that group. So, because Rowan takes L's like every week, so like, that's definitely gonna happen. But okay. Let's talk about what's next on the card. Let's go ahead and bypass that. Awesome.
All right. Charlotte will defend her Divas Championship with her father Ric Flair in the corner versus Paige.
Why?
I think. Go ahead.
Why is Ric Flair in the corner? I mean, I understand it. I get it. You know, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, why? Well, what's the purpose of him being in the corner?
Because the dirtiest player in the game loves his little girl.
Yeah.
That's why. No.
Of course.
Hey, man, we're going heel. And we need to trip people. We need to distract the rest.
Yeah, right. Well, that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Charlotte is going to retain her title. It might be some dirty tricks. It might not. But, you know, I'm confused at where Charlotte is right now. So, I mean, that's all I can give you. It's really all I can give you. Most people is like, oh, well.
Charlotte, I'll give you this. Charlotte retains the title. By hook or by crook. We're likely by a little bit of crook, because that's what her dad's there for. And we got to build the heat. We got to slowly build it that she's pretending that nothing is wrong as we are helping, and build the heat that way.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's whatever. Sorry, right. I'm really just kind of stuck at for words, because you really don't know I really don't know how to comment on these matches and what's going on. It's just kind of like, ugh. That is my initial reaction. Why? I don't know. Let's continue, shall we? Ooh, honey.
All right. Well, with that being said, the New Day will defend their tag team titles in a ladder match, a triple threat ladder match with the Usos and the Lucha Dragons, which may probably open up the show because it's that high intensity match, and possibly might be one of the better matches of the evening.
Yeah. True.
I think they have the high flying. They got the energy. I mean, you got Kofi in a ladder. That's going to be good.
Of course.
Usos ain't no punks. And the Lucha Dragons, they like to fly on things. So I think that combined effort will create something that will be magical and probably be the best, like I said, best match on the card.
Yeah, I agree. Go
ahead.
I just don't. It's gonna be. I have to honestly say that match actually has me a little intrigued. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be something to watch, and it's definitely gonna have a lot of the elements that you would expect it to with the opponents that are in it. So yeah, I'm glad they set up this one the way that they did. I just hate that it has to be on this card because so far right now this card is starting to just look like boop boop. But you know, I didn't do it, so it don't matter. It ain't my fault. They didn't know. So, are we ready to go on, Mr. Big Brother?
All right. Yeah. So I was gonna say New Day keeps the titles, right?
Of course. Yeah. So that's off top. Yeah.
All right. Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose. I think this is the only chance for a title change tonight. I like Dean's odds, but it's very possible that Kevin stays on with the IC belt.
Yeah, it is. It is. But you know what? I really would be excited. I'd be thoroughly excited if Dean won. I would. Like, I seriously, in all honesty, would be like, yes, and jumping up and down and everything else if he won. I just really see that not happening, unfortunately. But I would love it, though. And I think the fans would appreciate it. I think they're letting Owens ride not too long, but long enough. And I'm just kind of like, okay, at some point, this has to change, you know? So, of course, Dean would be ideal for this spot, you know? But I don't make the thing. I just follow instructions, you know, and I do. I just follow instructions and I talk about what's there, and this is what's there. I'm just saying this is what's there. This is what they put out there, so I have to comment on it. And this is my comments. Kevin's going to retain, and Dean is going to keep fighting the good fight. And that's just pretty much the end all of it.
If Kevin wins, it'll be by something screwy, and yeah, they'll keep going, right?
Right.
So we can keep going. Final match: Sheamus versus Roman Reigns, world title. Sheamus not gonna lose the belt. That's why we got the League of Nations, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Because there's no disqualification in the TLC match. So expect shenanigans. Expect everybody to come down and their mama to fight. A mistake's still gonna get made.
And Sheamus is still gonna be champion.
Yeah, I think Sheamus stays champ for a little bit.
Well, I think it's too early. Why give him this title and everything? Well, okay, I want to ask that question, but we've seen it happen before to where someone has had a short title reign. Like, it's been seen too many times. So I really don't want to ask the question of, why give him all that. if, it's going to be short. But at the same time, Sheamus being the heel that he is, of course he's going to have everything he needs to be the heel that he is. So, yeah, that belt ain't going nowhere. We know that. I know that. You know that. Everybody knows that. It ain't going nowhere.
Sheamus keeps the belt. That's pretty much a done deal.
Yeah.
And we'll root for Roman. And just keep rooting for him and keep hoping that tide turn. Maybe it turns at WrestleMania, right? Or maybe it turns before then. But the idea is you keep hoping that time gets turned. I
just know that the pay-per-view ends, everybody cries, and then we go back to what we were doing. We go back to what we were doing in life. But, Right. I just hope that, and I know that thanks to the matches that we just mentioned and everything we just discussed about the pay-per-view, that I do hope that people watch. I hope that they see it, even though, they don't really have too big of an incentive. It's just because wrestling's awesome. That's pretty much all I can say about this. But, of course, it's just going to be a bit... It's going to... Half of this is just a clusterfuck, but the rest of it is just kind of like, okay. The rest of it is like, well, it's wrestling, so that's how you feel about it. But it's like, yeah, but look at what the hell is happening. You really just don't know how to even take it all in. But TLC, yeah, a pay-per-view, I think they could do without, but that's not going to change. So it is what it is.
Yeah. With that, like I said, Sheamus walks out with the belt, and we transition to get ready for Royal Rumble. With that being said, not a lot really to talk about. I think we got it all off our chest in the first segment.
Yeah.
So with that, Keith signing off. Hit your spiel. Tell your peoples.
I am going to thank the wonderful world of the hosts because we are just awesome and I love you all. That is definitely who this is dedicated to this week, and that's just where it's going to be. So yeah, that's my final.
All right. With that, we'll be back next week with a full recap and preview of what's coming up with NXT. And with that, we out.
Peace.
In the Middle East, I guess.